Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name is David Austin, and sitting across from me in this super cool denim combo is my beautiful wife, Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin. And sweetie, I am thrilled to be sitting across from you this morning.
Well, thank you. I'm excited.
It's an awesome treat to be able to get up in the morning and see the prettiest thing I've ever looked at laying next to me.
Aww.
Except for today. You were gone when I woke up today.
Yeah, I was in the office working on some real estate deals.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Early this morning.
Real estate is your
bread and butter.
Bread and butter, it were.
It is. Yep.
All right. Today's episode is going to be kind of a fun one for me because I don't have anything pre-planned.
We have nothing pre-planned. In fact, we were at the farmer's market.
That's exactly right. So we're going to have an organic conversation. And the only thing I'm going to start by saying is The Session with Londa and David is brought to you by Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants. Call Londa today if your business needs a boost. That phone number is 509-491-2663. The number again. Okay, get something to write it down. 509-491-2663 for Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants. No job is too big. No business is too small. There you have it. And there it is.
Open your contacts.
Okay.
Sherwood Austin.
And put it in your phone.
509-491-2663.
That's exactly right.
Save. Shoot me a text.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, because people can text you too. That is how modern business communication often works.
Yes, welcome.
All right. So we've had a busy last several weeks. We've sold our vacation home in Florida. Mm-hmm. We've purchased a vacation home in Louisiana. And until Washington's fully open and less crazy, we'll be at the vacation home in Louisiana for most of our time.
Yeah. We still go up to Washington a lot. Now we've had a little bit longer stretch right now.
Right.
But about every 6 weeks, we're up there for a week doing business and catching up with family and
that's exactly
work
right.
And partners and
it confuses lenders and insurance professionals when you say you're buying a house as a second home but don't own a primary residence in the town where you live, work, play, and pray, which is the definition of a primary residence. So we have an apartment there in Tri-Cities that we share with one of our kids, and that's where we are every 6 weeks. My primary office is in Kennewick, Washington.
As is mine.
And it's Envoy Mortgage, and my partners are Dago and Miguel and Rob, and we have a fun group there, and we have a couple new kids that are coming up in the ranks.
Yep, they are.
So that's fun.
Yep.
Your primary employment is your real estate business.
Yep.
And you hang your shingle at Keller Williams Tri-Cities.
Yep.
Is that what it's called?
Yep.
Keller Williams Tri-Cities,
Yep.
KWTC fam.
That's the one.
And it's a great life. Also, we own a business in Lakeland, Florida called Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants, where we consult businesses large and small on how to grow more effectively. Mm-hmm. And salespeople are a big part of our coaching service that we provide.
We were just talking this morning. I'm a trainer at heart. I always have been. I've trained and taught systems and profitability for years and years and years. And so it's fun to be a part of a lot of different things for me and help them grow. But I want to be really clear. The bottom line for me in any business that I work with is increasing their profitability.
Absolutely.
Yes, I'll improve their systems. Yes, I'll improve the efficiency. But the bottom line is really what matters to me at the end of the day.
Well, that's good. And it may or may not be what matters to the business owner. And that's what's important, it is. How they feel.
Yes.
You have successfully built very customized programs around those businesses.
Yeah. But I want people to expect the bottom line to increase if when you work with me.
That's exactly right.
It does. That's my results that I get every time.
There you go. I like it. That's exciting stuff. Okay. So today was the farmer's market in downtown Lakeland. And I got to tell you, I'm going to miss it.
Yeah.
When we pack up the truck in a couple of weeks and drive away, I'm going to miss the downtown market feel.
I know.
Now, Lafayette, Louisiana is the third largest metropolitan area in the state of Louisiana. It's where I grew up. And I'm super excited to be getting back home. Yeah. You know, that's where I grew up, not only in life, but in radio. Yeah. I was a radio guy at News Radio KPEL in Lafayette when I first started. Ray Sutley hired me when I was 19 years old. And it's good to be able to go back there and see my radio family. Ray, sadly, is no longer with us, but his wife Justine is there, and we'll reconnect with Justine, who was mad at us when we were there a couple weeks ago because we didn't let her know we were coming.
I know. I feel terrible. I'm so sorry, Justine.
It was just a quick in and out.
I want to see you.
So, yeah, we're definitely going to go see Justine right when the RV pulls into town.
Right.
And we're buying a house in Breaux Bridge, which is about 6 miles northeast of Lafayette. It's the first stop off the interstate.
Toward Baton Rouge, yeah?
Yep, going toward Baton Rouge. Yeah, 42 miles from Baton Rouge, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah. It's maybe less, maybe 36. I don't remember. I don't know.
I don't know either, but it's very exciting, and you know, I love a good adventure, and I'm ready for it. I feel better. I feel, you know, if this is the first podcast you've listened to, I had 2 different types of cancer this year that I've recovered from and been treated for.
Right.
Still am in some adrenal fatigue. I have autoimmune issues. You know, I've got some things, but I'm feeling so much better, so much stronger. And so I'm ready to, you know, dip my toe back in the water of
life,
the hustle.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it's been really good. And one thing we can teach you about what we've done and been successful about here at Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants is how to operate your business remotely.
Oh,
that is something that you have taught me, and I think we have perfected over the last, I don't know, 14, 16 months.
Yeah. I mean, I'm working with now in my consulting and coaching for the last 20 years, I've worked with clients all over the world. That is not an exaggeration. Right. So I've always done things remotely in that aspect, right? So it was over the phone. It was over Skype back in the day. You know, now we FaceTime or we have Zoom calls or whatever. But operating a real estate business in Washington State from Florida and being so sick, I couldn't go there all the time when I wanted to, right? So I had to learn how to do it remotely. Super grateful that I had this year to be able to really perfect that system. And, you know, there's always more you can do. It can always be better and all that. Yeah. But to be able to do that, and you as well, and to have happy, satisfied clients is amazing.
It really is. And I got to tell you, the thing that I love most about lending is the face-to-face stuff. And since COVID started and Washington shut down, there has been none of that. The sad thing is my reviews are dramatically better now that I'm not interacting face-to-face with people.
Well, I think that just shows you that you thought you brought the show to the table. That's what you brought to the table was the David Austin experience, right? The show. And I hope what you've discovered is your knowledge and expertise in the field is as much the show as the show.
Well, I guess you're right. You know what I mean? And if you have a good team that you work with, and I say work with because no one works for me. We all work together. It's a team at Envoy Mortgage, right? If you have a good team that works with you, not against you, you know, they say in sales teams, there's always a saboteur.
Yes, there is. Yeah.
We don't have that at Envoy because we all grew up together in the business. And while I'm a little longer in the tooth than the rest of the boys, I grew up there too because I started my lending career at about the same time as little Doggo. He was 19 doing it out of the trunk of his car, and I was in my 30s, but that's, you know, we started at the same time. Yeah. So we literally grew up together in the business, right? So there's no saboteur, and that's a really important distinction Now, and the fact that everybody there is a teammate, not an employee.
Right. And your team matters, whether it's in your home.
It does.
Your family, right? Your business, your whatever. Again, this is a holistic conversation.
That's
the
exactly
team
right.
matters.
It does. And the goals of the team matter.
The vision matters.
So if your business is struggling to find its way, maybe you need a vision statement. Maybe you need to understand your why. Right?
Yep.
And then once you understand your why, you need to communicate your why to your team, and they need to believe it and buy into it. And when they do,
right,
it's a stew. You got a gumbo when that happens. It's magic.
Now, getting to that is where somebody like me comes in, right? Because it's hard for people. They're too close to the situation. They don't know what the vision is necessarily, or maybe just how to articulate it. You need somebody to draw that out of you and help you articulate it. And then how do you get your team members to buy into it, and at what degree? You know, because there's got to be realistic expectation of your team member. They're not going to care about it like you do. They just won't. It doesn't happen. You know, and then how to kind of saturate the company culture with the vision. All of those things are something that most people do not know how to do on their own, and need somebody to come alongside and kind of walk them through how to do that.
Sure. And that's something you do at Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants. Again, the session with Londa and David is brought to you by Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants. Call Londa today at 509-491-2663. Or as she says, open your contacts in your phone and type in this number, 509-491-2663. 509-491-2663 for Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants. Okay. That feels like it's been a 12-minute commercial for what we do.
I think it's really important that people understand what we can do for them.
That's true. That's true.
I will say, though, this show is also by way of a bomb breakfast.
Oh, holy
brought
cow.
to you today by the Terrace Grill.
Yeah, that's right. In the Terrace Hotel in Lakeland, Florida.
God,
and I got to tell you.
Wait, now I specifically bitch and moan and complain about service all the time.
Yes.
I see everything that's wrong with
You're
the
a
service.
specialist at that. But what you don't do is bitch and complain to the server because you don't want to embarrass anyone.
Kindness matters.
That's exactly right.
But today at the Terrace Grill, at the Terrace Hotel in Lakeland, Florida, I'm happy to report it was perfection.
From start to finish, we walked in the restaurant and Cole was the young man who was working at the door. And
you asked him how he was doing.
And he was ebullient and effervescent.
Yeah.
That kid was like, I'm wonderful and I'd love to help you guys have a spectacular day too. And I told him that I was...
But it wasn't too much.
No,
it was
it was just right for you because you liked the David Austin show.
Well,
and
I do.
He was like from Central Casting. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was young tour guide David Austin.
There you go.
In the flesh.
Got us seated, though, and the place, if you are in Central Florida and you haven't been there, treat yourself and go because they've remodeled it, and it's like... I don't know how to describe it. It's classic, elegant, without being stuffy. It's gorgeous. I don't know who did the redesign, but
the remodel is spectacular.
They nailed it.
I would say Big City Hotel, 1954.
Yes.
That's what it looks like when you walk in.
So beautiful. So that your surroundings are beautiful. They make you comfortable as soon as you walk in the door. Our server also was incredible. I mean, didn't miss a beat.
I love how Cole got your chair for you when we walked to the table.
Yeah, and I was saying to you, they have some good training there.
They do.
Because there were things that happened that can't just be natural typically. That's training.
Right.
And so whoever's training that staff, bravo to you because, wow, incredible.
And they had one cook that you could see from where we were sitting. We were sitting in the far right side of the restaurant, and over my shoulder was the grill area.
Right.
They had one cook cooking for everybody in the restaurant, and the food was perfection. And it's not complicated because they have a short menu, a small menu, but everything is beautifully crafted.
And that's part of the trick to the success of restaurants. And if there's any restaurant owners listening, here's a free tip for you.
You know who's not listening? The owner of the Cheesecake Factory. That guy's lost his mind. He's like Crazy Eddie from those commercials in the 70s.
Yeah. You need to reduce the options on your menu. And I can say that of almost every restaurant.
Right.
It's too much. Make it smaller and perfect that.
Well, that's what I like about...
You're going to say fat olives?
No.
Oh, you always talk about fat olives.
No. I was going to say that's what I like about restaurants like the City Club or a country club.
Oh, yeah.
They usually have one insert page menu per day. And it's different often, but it's one. So you can have these things, or these things. And that's it.
Yeah.
And if you want to order off the menu, the chef's always there and will come out to your table and help you out in a place like, say, Meadow Springs Country Club. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They can do things that aren't on the menu.
Right.
But if they have a very short classic menu with the staples, then everybody's happy. Nobody's confused.
Yeah.
When you've got 77 burger choices,
it's too much.
It's too much. You can have a list of things to put on the burger. But if you've got too much, it's too much.
It's too much. But this morning was not too much. The chef was amazing. The food was fantastic. The atmosphere, everything was what I want it to be when I go to a restaurant.
And the coffee was really good.
Including, they bring out my avocado toast with the poached egg. And I said to our server, what's on top of the poached egg? I was intrigued. There were black flecks on it. I was, one, intrigued. Two, I want to make sure it's not anything that has garlic in it because I'm allergic.
Or roofing material, because it looked a little like they were standing outside while the roofer was doing his thing and maybe it sprinkled down on the egg.
She said black salt.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And so now I need black salt to put on top of my eggs because it was a beautiful contrast. Just the whole thing. I'm sorry. I know I'm going on and on about it.
No, you had a good experience.
It was an experience. Fantastic.
We've as a rule done customer service ratings and reviews of places we've been and service we've had.
5 stars.
5 stars for sure.
All the way around.
Yeah, I felt bad for the lady who came in and sat down next to us, though, who was here for the motorcycle show. Robin, that's right. And we hope to see her today at the RP Funding Center where they're having a big motorcycle show. Anyway, she and I and Londa started talking and engaging, and so the waitress kind of stood back in the wings but
we couldn't see her.
We couldn't, and didn't come over to give her coffee until she said, "Man, I wish somebody would come over with coffee." And then she walked around the corner and said, "Oh my God, did you need coffee? I didn't want to interrupt you, so I was standing here."
So we totally skeezed Robin out of her coffee by talking to her. But what a lovely conversation.
Yep.
And she was taking pictures of the inside of the
beautiful
restaurant, and I said, "Isn't it beautiful?" And she said, "Oh yeah." And it was just great. It was an all around. But we had just walked to the market, which always puts me in a good mood. And I picked up some sourdough bread.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And we're going over to John Patrick's house tomorrow.
Our self-proclaimed super fan.
He is the president of the Session with Londa and David fan club. And so he's having us over before we move the show to Louisiana.
Yep.
To say thanks and to hang out.
Yeah, but I'm excited because he works for Lakeland Electric.
Right.
But on the weekends for 30 plus years, he's been a butcher.
He's been a butcher for 30 years.
Let me tell you where you want to have steak.
Yeah.
At a butcher's house.
You sure do.
So I'm excited.
That's what he said to me. "David, I'm going to cut some beautiful fillets." Ooh. And, he doesn't talk like that, but that's the tone I heard when I read his text. You know what I mean?
That's funny.
So I'm super excited. So on next week's show, we'll give you a review
there you go.
Of our dinner at John Patrick's.
Hey, we also had a great experience while we were walking the farmer's market. We've talked about the market before. If you do these types of markets and you're not engaging with the people walking by, you're really missing out. And we were engaged by somebody today.
By the chief cheesemaker.
Yeah, the cheesemonger. Is that what they're called?
I don't. That is what they're called.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants to be called that.
He
but
had
that's
a bunch of imported cheese, and I really did want to stand there and talk to him about all the different cheeses. But here's what I knew: there was one sign that had a price on it. And I knew right away, I'm way too cheap to pay for any of these today.
Oh, I gotcha. I didn't see that.
But he did. He called out to us and asked us over and asked us to try his products. And that was great. You've got to do that.
He was great. And I suspect the reason he called you over is he could see that
I look like I eat cheese.
You look like your money.
Oh.
You look like money. You do. Your high-heeled shoes, your beautiful earrings, your Tiffany ring that you're wearing.
Well,
people saw that and they're like,
it is a Tiffany's ring. I don't mean to, be fancy, but it is a Tiffany's ring that I found one time. I didn't buy it.
That's exactly right. And hopefully no one listening to this show hears the story about how or where you found that and then looks for you. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
Okay. I don't want to go into details about that. However, I will say
somebody lost a finger on a subway.
I found it at a workplace that I was working at, and I went through all the proper channels before they let me have it. Okay. So I didn't like skis it or steal it or anything.
Well, who thinks of you and thinks that Londa, she's one thieving, conniving thief?
I can think of a couple people
I can't think of any.
That way.
I cannot think of any. Maybe some woman that feels like you stole their man. Maybe. But that's it. That's it. I don't know why anybody would ever say anything like that about you because you're an honest, caring, loving person.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Okay. So on last week's show, we talked a little about, I don't remember. I don't remember last week's show at all.
For the last 2 weeks, we've talked about stop thinking about it.
And do it.
Stop worrying about it. Stop organizing it. Just do the damn thing.
Actualization. Make it happen. Stop talking about it.
And do it right now. And I know that, okay. I know that, the experts say that you're more productive when you don't multitask.
Right.
So, and we're talking a lot about stop what you're doing and do it now. So I guess that's not multitasking if you stop what you're doing and take care of it now. I guess the point that we've been trying to make is if it's going to take you 1 minute to think about it and it's going to take you 1 minute to act on it, don't think about it, act on it.
Do you know?
Spend the same time doing rather than thinking.
The NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, has done tests on whether or not people can multitask. And the reason they've done these tests is because they wanted to know about texting and driving and listening to voicemails and driving and changing the radio station and driving. And what they found in hundreds of cases is the human brain cannot multitask. The human brain can do one thing effectively at once.
Right.
One.
So even when you think you're multitasking, you're not?
That's exactly right.
With this?
You're never giving enough attention to the main task if you're doing something else at the same time.
Right.
They've found that if you look down at your cell phone, and you've done this anecdotally without a study, but you've been driving along and thought, oh, you know what? My cell phone just went off. I'm on an open stretch of road. Let me look real quick. And all of a sudden you're swerving.
Right.
That happens because people cannot multitask. Now, I know people will call me and say, David, I'm a multitasker. I can do several things. The human brain is ill-equipped for that.
But I can pee and brush my teeth at the same time.
You can, but that's not really multitasking. That's bodily function.
It's just a weird thing that I do. I don't know why.
I can't walk and chew gum. I can. That's not multitasking.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the human brain cannot focus on two things at once. Cannot.
I gotcha. I get where you're going with that.
And computers can't either, but they make instant decisions, computers. So it seems you can have multiple windows open. It seems like they're processing all the same information at once. They're not. It's just one packet of information can be processed in a microsecond.
Right.
And then the next thing has to happen.
And really what you're doing is you're just putting pause on whatever it is you're doing and then play on this other thing.
And that's what you have to do, which is why it's good as, say, a salesperson to time block, but to also be able to press pause on what you're doing and go back to it.
Okay, this is something that I love talking about, flexibility within a schedule or a system.
Okay, let's talk about that.
So it works better for people. You know, a really strict schedule or a really strict system will only work for one or two types of people.
Okay.
It won't work for all types of people. So I often talk about, when I'm coaching with somebody or consulting on their business or whatever, having flexibility within the system.
Okay.
Or flexibility within the schedule, especially a certain particular personality type, which you are, having flexibility within a schedule. Like if you were to do the micromanaging 15-minute manager system.
Okay.
You might be able to sustain that for a little while. Maybe. But it's not a long-term solution for you.
Right.
So you've got to have some more flexibility within the system, but it's just basically like building a fence around it. Right? Like run all over the yard if you want to within this fence.
Right.
So I like to build systems like that because not only are they sustainable, they're more sustainable, but also they work for more people and they're more relaxing. They're more fun and less stressful and more peaceful. So you know.
And that's why the core training system for mortgage people was not a no-brainer for me because I cannot sit down on Monday and make 30 phone calls in an hour. I cannot do it.
You can't sit down on any day and make 30 phone calls in an hour.
Correct.
I can.
You can because you're not invested in the dialogue.
Right.
I am invested in the dialogue. When I talk to a human person, I'm thrilled, and that is 100% of my focus at that moment.
Right.
So for me, a targeted, scripted phone call, almost impossible.
Right.
For several people, that's a great system.
Now, if you used a targeted, scripted phone call as a parameter and you had freedom within that to go take the conversation wherever you want to, as long as you always come back and hit all these points.
Right.
That would work better for you.
And that's when you're dialing for dollars. You know what I mean?
Oh, I have done it.
Yeah. I don't love doing that. That is not my favorite thing.
Nobody loves it, but I'll tell you what.
That's not true. Some people love it.
Okay,
Robbie Bro in Lafayette, Louisiana loves it.
Okay.
He loves it. And Rob Lindsay, he loves it.
Yes.
He loves it. I don't love it. I don't like it.
Okay. I didn't love it when I did it. But I did it, and you will learn some things.
You will. It's like selling Cutco knives door to door.
Everybody should sell something door to door. Everybody should have to dial for dollars.
Yes.
With a auto dialer and a script.
Right.
Everybody should work in retail at some point, and everybody should work in a restaurant at some point. I think those four things, if you do those, it will teach you enough to be either really successful in sales,
right,
or go back to school, get a degree in something, be an engineer or something.
And do that and do the hell out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You just learn things that you don't learn anywhere else.
That's true. That's exactly true. And you see things you won't see anywhere else. If you are a door-to-door salesman, going all the way back to the Fuller Brush salesman of days of old, and Rainbow vacuum cleaner salespeople, and Cutco knife salespeople, if you've had one of those jobs, you have seen some things and you have learned some things because you're going to see inside of worlds that you didn't know existed.
Right.
Because walking into a house that is a strange house to you, there's stuff going on in there that you haven't even considered.
If you've ever been in some kind of direct sales or network marketing and it was the party plan where you go into people's homes and do parties.
Yes.
Oh, you learn some things. You learn some things about people. You really do.
And people showing up at our house in Florida, we're not dressed a lot in Florida because it's warm. As you can see, I'm wearing shorts and a little tiny t-shirt today because it's 85 degrees, even though we're in the Christmas shopping season.
Well, and we weren't going to record today. We were going to go to the farmer's market.
That's exactly right. And we said, let's throw one in the can because good news, Christmas right around the corner. So let's just knock some out,
excited.
right?
We have gifts at home on the fireplace mantle.
That's
I'm very
true.
excited.
That's true. Yep. Yep.
Anyway, you weren't talking about that, but I got sidetracked.
Well, I'm
with
just
the
saying,
Christmas gift.
if you're knocking on doors
Yeah.
in Lakeland, Florida, you are likely to learn some things at the Austin House, because our backyard pool area, we've got curtains around our lanai so that no one can see us swimming back there, because we're kind, and those little Mormon kids that live behind us don't need to learn that.
Right.
But if you come to our front door, we've got those scrim curtains there.
Yeah, they're lace.
They're lace. They're like your leggings that you
shades.
wore the other day,
Yeah.
except they're white, not black.
Right.
And, if you put your eyes to the door and look in, you can see all the way out to the pool. So I'm sure some salespeople have seen some things and learned some things.
Caution.
That's exactly right.
We're still newlyweds.
We are. It's only been 2 years and a couple months. So,
Yeah.
And here's the good news. We didn't date first. So we learned all about one another in real time after marriage, which is the weirdest sounding thing ever.
Well, we knew a lot going in because we were friends. We hung out. And
That's
we
right.
Hiked and we
That's
did all
right.
the stuff.
I knew all your business. I knew all of your dating secrets. You knew all of my dating secrets.
It's true. Something I learned, I want to get right off that. Something I learned in the last year that we've spent here with a lot of time here in Florida is the importance of a relationship with our realtor.
We were talking about this at breakfast, and I'm fascinated, and I really want you to say the exact same words that you said at breakfast, because they're both important and very earnest and very sweet.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I will. The reason this was a good lesson for me is because I'm really good at the business side of things.
Right.
Like nobody knows the contract like I know it. Nobody can negotiate like I do. Like I'm really, really good at those things.
Right.
And I love getting clients,
Mm-hmm.
The warm and fuzzy, like relational stuff is more your bag.
Right.
You get invited to the baby showers and the barbecues.
Right.
I don't, but when they need somebody who's a tough negotiator, they call me, right? So I didn't realize the importance of the warm and fuzzy kind of side of the relationship until I needed the warm and fuzzy side of the relationship.
That's exactly right.
Being in Lakeland, we've been here a little over a year and we'll be leaving. And the people I feel the closest relationships with are our realtor who helped us buy our home, who we didn't know before I just found him online and called him.
No, didn't we walk into his office?
I don't remember.
Didn't we? It's a Keller Williams, and we were walking down Pine Street and walked into his office.
Maybe.
And they got him for us.
Maybe.
He's the team leader.
Yeah, I don't remember. So that person and the lady who works at my favorite little clothing boutique that's on the same block as our office.
Right.
Who, we've become Marcy. Marcy and I have become friends. We hang out. We go to lunch. We went antiquing recently. And she's become a friend. And then Jared, our realtor,
Jared Wegeland,
has also become a friend. And what happened is both of them did this. They reached out to us and invited us to events, professional events, personal events.
Yes.
Hey, there's this going on. Jared will even just send me a text and remind me like, hey, it's the Christmas celebration this weekend at the market. I'm going to be there, but I thought you guys would, enjoy coming down and seeing what it's like.
Right.
I never realized how important it was to really stay involved in somebody's life in that way. And I didn't realize it was so easy. Because see, I don't do a lot of the relational stuff because it feels overwhelming to me.
Okay.
Like I can't manage all these relationships. I can manage them logically and in business, but emotionally managing them freaks me out.
That's interesting.
So
we are a good
here's the thing.
yin and yang then.
For
because
sure.
I find zero stress in the emotional part of the relationship and 100% of the enjoyment in the emotional relationship.
I had never been anywhere.
Right.
But now being somewhere I'm unfamiliar with and realizing how simple it is to be connected with people because it's not like they did a lot. Like it was just a reaching out every once in a while to basically to let us know what's going on.
Right.
Or invite us to some event.
But I will say they're nice people and they made an effort to be friends of ours.
Well, yeah. And then when we would get together, here, the key for me is they asked me about me.
Right.
I felt like they really wanted to get to know me.
And that's critical.
Yeah. But now I realize it's not that hard. It's not that emotionally taxing. It's not some big thing that I like built it up to be in my head. The problem is I thought about it and I worried about it and I considered it.
And then did not do it.
And I didn't do it.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So stop thinking about it.
Take my own advice.
And do it. Just do it.
Right.
Invest in the people that you are around. Right. And if you're around people for business, invest in them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll never forget when Les Savage and I were invited to Connell, to the neighborhood up there that Les built, the Oasis neighborhood in Connell. And literally, when we came driving up the street, people clapped and came out with beers for us. And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was a beautiful thing.
Nobody's ever done that for me.
Well, when we moved into our house in West Richland, that happened too, because I did loans for everybody on that street, and we're still friends with those people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, the most rewarding thing is the relationships. And it's not the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what's weird about me. I would rather cut my commission to help somebody be happy in a transaction than make money.
Right.
Because I'm about helping people be happy. And the worst thing to me in business is when people aren't happy no matter what I've done.
Right.
And that is awful. And those people, they can suck it. I don't like those people and don't want to work with them.
That's not true. That's not true at all. I don't like when people are mad at me. I do have a thing about that.
No, well, I don't want people to be, what's the word?
Disappointed.
No, I don't want people to be indifferent about me. I want them to be fans of me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't want indifference. No, thank you. No, thank you.
Oh, I'll be glad when all this pandemic stuff is behind us, though, and we can start having client parties and things like that again.
And living normal life.
I love throwing parties for clients. I do like that a lot.
You know, I've been watching the news every morning since I was a kid. As you do. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way the media is covering the COVID business is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous.
Tell me what you mean.
Well, you know, every news story that you hear...
Because you watch several different sources.
That's true.
Right.
Every news break, let's say a top-of-the-hour newscast, mentions this ridiculous Omicron variant.
We are Omicron.
Right, of COVID. And every single newscast starts with it. In fact, today, the Today Show started with that and then went to the tornado that killed 50 people in Kansas.
Tornado was crazy.
So here's the deal. This variant, which spreads super fast, apparently, way faster than all the others, gives you sniffles and a low-grade fever. It's not deadly at all. But it's considered a breakthrough COVID case because, you know, you've been vaccinated but it gives you the sniffles and a low-grade fever. Why the hell is the media covering it like the world is falling down? Meanwhile, 890,000 deaths over the Delta variant. I mean, it's stupid. It's the dumbest thing ever. And we assume it's the Delta variant because the testing really isn't clear. So there you go. That's my thing. We're covering this pandemic like it's still crazy, killing you bad.
But because the media is doing that, and because we're not sure, if you're not pivoting in your business to accommodate, you're making a mistake. And let me just say, that is one of the keys to our personal success is that we pivoted early. And learned how to do everything long distance remotely. Well, not even long distance. We were still in Washington learning how to do it remotely. I mean, we just made the pivot and said, okay, let's learn this. Let's learn it well. Let's do it. And I saw an article the other day about it was a restaurant that a long-standing restaurant, like a burger joint, right?
Okay.
But it had been family owned and operated for 50 years or whatever, 70, I think it was. And when the pandemic shut down the world, you know, they thought they were going to lose the restaurant that had been in their family for, you know, 3 generations or whatever. instead, the family got together, started brainstorming. They pivoted and they started brainstorming, and they came up with the idea of, what if we kind of went back to our roots and started doing car hop? Would that work in the current environment because of the rules and regulations? And,
about people can't come in.
Right. So they did. They did the car hop concept, and all of a sudden, they're all over the place. They're all over TikTok with their videos and stuff, because they made it fun doing these roller skating car hops. And they've got this like cool, like vintagey kind of, almost a hippie kind of vibe with it. And like their business exploded.
So essentially they became Sonic.
Much cooler.
Well, I don't know that you can say that. The fifth busiest Sonic in America is my brother's Sonic, and he's killing it.
I understand that he's doing well, and I'm happy for him. But people started seeking these guys out because they have such a cool vibe with the new car hop thing.
Well, and it makes sense.
And it saved their business.
Yep, it makes sense.
Because they started thinking outside the box.
Yeah.
You know? And I think everybody who figured out a way around it figured it out.
Well, you know, in my business, technology has been a big deal for years and years and years and years. And now that you can do an online application and upload your documents right to the application, it is so smooth that I don't even remember the days when people would come sit down in my office for an hour and I would do the David show and go over line by line on the disclosures, because now it's electronic and you can sign everything on your cell phone.
Right.
So the most important pieces to most people are the loan estimate, right? And that's it. People want to know what the dollars and cents are, and that's really all they've wanted to know.
Right.
Except we overcomplicate it.
They do want to know that you care, though, and your care comes through on your phone conversations.
That's true. That's true. And when I
listen to
FaceTime people, and absolutely true. And it's not.
And your enthusiasm is definitely one of your calling cards.
Sure. In fact, one of my longtime customers who we did a refinance, and it seemed to take forever because they had some unique situations and multiple properties, a jumbo deal in the Tri-Cities. I thought, you know, I love this family and they're awesome, but I bet I'm ticking them off because it took forever. And yesterday I got a text that, hey, what's your office address in Kennewick? Brian wants to send you a gift. What a sweet, wonderful message.
Yeah. Lovely.
Beautiful.
And I love that technology has helped us so much. You know, I have a training workshop coming up this next week that I'm doing on rapport and more. And just how to build your business and how to connect with people when you have them in the seat in front of you.
Right.
And how to get referrals and repeat business and all that kind of stuff. So, and I'm doing it via Zoom.
Cool.
You know?
Yeah.
Not live at all. And so I love that technology has allowed us to do the things that we love.
Right.
And successfully in just a little bit different way. And
I love that I've been able to spend almost 100% of my time in front of you.
Yeah.
Leaving for a day and a half to drop off one of our cars in Louisiana was awful for me because I love to be next to you. I don't realize how important it is to me to have my hand on you, on your person.
It's been a really unique opportunity for us in the first 2 years of our marriage to
be quarantined together.
Mostly. I really believe that, and I think it's been fantastic.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it too. I can't believe we sat down 40 some odd minutes ago to talk, had nothing pre-planned, and we've made it this far on the session with Londa and David.
Welcome to our conversation.
This is just what we talk about and how we do it. And I love how I segued to another part of the show and then said, I don't remember what we were doing at all. It was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But that's just kind of how we communicate.
There you go.
The Session with Londa and David is brought to you by Sherwood Austin Growth Consultants. No job is too big. No business is too small. Call Londa today at 509-491-2663. That number again, 509-491-2663. Text or email Londa at sherwoodaustin.com.
Yeah. we'll see if we're a fit.
There you have it, and there it is. For Londa Sherwood Austin, my name's David Austin, and this has been The Session with Londa and David. We'll talk next week.